change as a result of this election, regardless of who is speaking for them and who is saying what about them, because these people never really feel the representation that we think on this other side that they, that they experience. And so for me, it would be important to have, like, to just understand, so what are these Luhya problems and why is it even being called a swing vote? Does it have something to do with the fact that neither government, neither administration is, is going to take care of their needs, and so it doesn't matter whatever side the vote swings, because either way, it will still be the same thing. Whether it is this side or this other side, we'll still have the same problems, and so we can swing whichever side, because there's nothing that is for us on whatever side. Yes.
All right, interesting that you raised that. A lot of promises are made around election time, and this time it's the revival of sugar factories in Western Kenya. Raphael, what do you make of it?
I think in terms of, I think first of all, if you look at the way Luhyas have always voted, politically speaking, they've never voted really as a bloc. There will always be, of course, the bigger chunk that always voted with the opposition, Raila Odinga. But now there is a concern that that chunk might not be as significant, as big, if the pollings and just the report that has been released, the various voices, the various opinions we are hearing, anything to go by. Also, the Western has never had sort of a kingpin to say. For example, if you look at when Mudavadi died one time, people were hoping that he will get almost all the Luhya vote. That didn't happen. He got a paltry, a significantly low numbers of votes. So they've never had a kingpin. But now we see the divide. We see Oparanya on the other side. We see Atuoli on the other side. With Oparanya. Then we see now Mudavadi and Wetangula on this other side. All of us are watching to see what's going to happen. But what I would say is that both sides are very strong people. If you look at Oparanya now, Oparanya is not just seen to be a kingpin, he's also seen to be a kingpin based on what he's done. Kakamega really has improved and made lots of progress when it comes to infrastructure. It now has a stadium. There's quite a bit of development. So if Luhyas are looking for perhaps development, they are likely to say, look, let's follow Oparanya. In fact, there was talk that if there was to be a regional leader, then Oparanya would have been that leader. But then this is politics. People are not necessarily voted because of development. There are also many other issues, and Luhya is, there are many layers. There is clan, there is what. So people might say, no, we are not following Oparanya. We want to go with Mudavadi and Bongoma. So I think it's really wait and see. But I would say Raila has a lot of work to do to maintain his base, because that is his base. The other people are trying to eat in his base. So it is him to really work hard to make sure he retains that base.
And Dan, if you'll allow me a follow-up, I know you have a burning question as well, but should the rest of the nation, because sometimes, most times actually when this is discussed, it's framed in the negative. So is this a sub-tribe issue, or are Luhyas more enlightened than the rest of us, and they're not basing their vote on tribe?
No, I think it's just a sub-tribe. If you ask me, we are still, our politics is still, no matter what you say, it's still based on, regional kingpins, tribes, clans, and all that. It will take a while. Of course, we're evolving slowly, but I still feel it's just, a clan, the layers of clans and everything. So I don't think there's anything new. They're just saying, look, there's a section of Luhya that perhaps have always benefited, so them they're okay, but for the rest of us we've not benefited in the past, so this is how we're going to take a different route. That's what I think.
And to be honest, I love it for them. I love that there's no particular kingpin, so it means that no one can really manipulate them. They'll be like, listen, you think you're a kingpin, we will show you don't know. So I really genuinely love it for them. I love it. I wish I wish Central was like that, where there's no kingpin, so you cannot come and manipulate us, and you cannot come and re-traumatize a region just because you call yourself a kingpin. So well done, Luhya community. Keep
So let me ask you, I would say, I mean, I agree in part with that, but I would also say in terms of politics is about interest.
Yes.
And you always have to negotiate. Part of the reason why women have benefited more compared to the youth constituency is because youth don't speak in one voice. Women tend to speak in one voice. So when they go for negotiations, they say, no, this is what women want. But you see what's happening with Luya, while Wanjiru says this is a good thing, it's also very, very dangerous, because now, who are you going to negotiate with? Like, for example, you've had Musalia has been told you need to get 70%. He's not even sure he's going to get that 70%. So he's being told, if you get the 70%, we are going to give you something. But he's not very sure he's going to. If you tell Raila Odinga to get you 70% from Nyanza, you are sure he's going to get that. So you're already going to guarantee him something. In Luya now, no one has been guaranteed anything. You're being told, if we win, I will give you this percentage. If you win, I will. So there's also danger in that.
Oparanya was not one of the CSs.
Yeah, but he's been told if you bring something, it's not really guaranteed.
Is it? I thought Raila said he's already giving these guys.
He's already giving them, but you see, that is in terms of promise. But you see, when it comes to, there is negotiation before and negotiation after. Negotiation after is based on what you bring, and we've seen how coalitions are formed post-election. It's really based on what you, even if you're promised something and you didn't deliver anything, who is going to give you anything?
So I'm curious. We have on one end some of the guys considered to be big pins, kingpins, or very influential. We have on the Kenya Kwanza side, we have Mudavadi, we have Weta, we have some of them who at some point had a bit more clout or have been growing clout, Malala, Halwale. On this other side, we have Paranya, Wamalwa, Atwoli, etc. Do you feel that those who have been in government have an advantage in terms of, because there's something to show for it? Because you mentioned that Oparanya is a governor. You can see what he's done in Kakamega. Wamalwa is a CS, so they've got immediate evidence of work they've been doing. So do you feel this gives the Azimio side an advantage? Because for Malala, he's been a senator. Senators don't really have, they don't have budget really. So they don't have, I can't say we came and procured this as a senator, but a governor has that advantage. So do you feel the guys on the Azimio side have an advantage by virtue of being in government as we speak?
And if I could piggyback on what you've asked Dan, did it come as a surprise to either of you? Do you mind if I call you Shiro?
No, I don't.
Shiro and Raphael. When we saw that William Ruto is according to the polls, most popular in Bungoma. I remember when Raila Odinga went there, I think a week ago, he told them, shame on you. How can that be the case? Sure.
I think the idea of telling people to shame on them, first of all, people want things. People want roads, people want water, people want industries, people want jobs. We are just recovering from a pandemic. We're recovering from a very long campaign season. So, I mean, come at people correct. I mean, that's what I would first say. Come at people correct. If you're going to ask people don't tell people to shame on them. Ask people, why is this person more popular than me? Like, where did I go wrong? Where did I, like, what happened in our relationship? And then number two, it obviously, the way development usually works normally is that it shouldn't matter what side you worked on. As long as you are a tax-paying citizen, then everyone is entitled to development. But because politics, as he said, is a game of interests, and those interests obviously have a way in how resources are distributed, then of course the person with the most government on their side, or the people who are looked at as they voted for the government, will definitely get more benefits, from this. And politicians are known to really piggy bank on what government has already decided will happen, whether or not he will vote, for these people. So it is very possible, for politicians to go on the ground and tell people, see what I did for you, see the bridges I've built, see that, and yet these roads were still going to be done anyway, with or without you being in that office. So to answer your question, yes, it helps when you're in government and then you're trying to campaign, because you can obviously hang on what government has done, which government is supposed to do. And so to answer your question, yes, it is possible that it is actually an advantage, other than when now you're coming from the opposition side and the only thing that you're giving the people is anger. You're making people angry, you're making them afraid, you're selling nothing but all those emotions. But when you're in government, there's something more tangible for you to tell the people and for people to believe in your development you know, track record.
Okay, but before you come in, Raphael, she did say well done to Luyas for not having a specific kingpin. But what do you say to what Raphael is saying? Dan Mangi made fun of me earlier when I said chelewa chelewa matumbo huuma. This one I'm sure I have right. Mkono mtupu